Information systems is crucial to the development of our society. Every year, there's new technologies from different industries that impact our lives. One of these industries is the car industry, and due to the fast paced progression in that industry, we felt like it would be very interesting and relevant to talk about self driving cars in this presentation. There are many IS topics that are involved with self-driving cars and the development of self-driving cars. Some of the topics that we've talked about in this class and seen videos about are AI-based automation processes, collaboration, competitive advantage, IS development, and there's other ones as well. Many companies are already incorporating assisted driving technology, whether that is lane assistance or automatic braking. Throughout this presentation, we are going to talk about self-driving cars and the different pros and cons, background, and whether what we feel like is the future for self-driving cars.
In this research project, our team chose to explore autonomous cars and the impact they may have on us in the future. The first self-driving car was introduced in 1926 and it was called the Chandler. Today, Tesla has introduced a vehicle with autopilot options, but has recently experienced a bad rep. Our team acknowledges the rapid changes in technology, and we have chosen to explore the pros and cons as well as the ethical dilemmas we may face in the future. On April 21st, I conducted an interview with Mr. Gebhardt, an account manager for Pinterest, asking him about what he thinks the future has in store for us with technology. His response was, "Technology has become the new normal. Artificial information systems is gradually taking the enjoyment of simple tasks. There will always be dilemmas on privacy versus security, but it depends on where humans decide to draw the line." Thank you.
There is an innumerable list of pros and cons when it comes to self-driving cars, and our list is fragmentary at best. The pros we recognize are the removal of hands-on human interaction, the removal of human error, fatigued drivers, and distracted drivers. With these removed, we expect to see less road rage and human bias in our commutes. We expect shorter commute times as there may be increased speed limits, possibly more productive commute times as the driver becomes the rider, and we expect to see environmental improvements as families could use fewer vehicles. For cons, we expect to see major job losses in the transportation industry as drivers are no longer needed. We recognize that self-driving cars are computers on wheels, which opens the door to hardware and software malfunctions. There will likely be high upfront financial costs for the adoption of self-driving cars. Our infrastructure may be unprepared for this dramatic shift. The potential loss of privacy about where you're going or where you have been, and the philosophical trolley problem. What values will self-driving cars be programmed with, and who will it choose to save in an ethical situation?
My name is Kyle Hetzel, and I'll be covering our textbook relation for self-driving cars. So our textbook actually covered self-driving cars and showed some decent interest in it, mainly just on how self-driving cars will potentially affect future businesses. Self-driving cars, our textbook believes that they will disrupt already established businesses. So for example, maybe some companies in the automotive industry might get disrupted if they aren't able to keep up with the times when it comes to something like self-driving cars, because even though they might already be individually a well-established business, if they can't keep up with the industry, self-driving cars could impact that. And our textbook believes that self-driving cars will be a disruptive force to business operations in the future, because likely results of self-driving cars include fewer cars being purchased because it'll be a lot easier for families to share, fewer loans given out by banks as a result of fewer cars being purchased. So those are like financial areas, fewer automotive insurance plans to be sold, because fewer cars, fewer parking lots along with fewer cars, fewer automotive parts to be sold and manufactured, because assuming more safety, you can assume fewer accidents, therefore fewer repairs will be needed. And then lastly, our book talked a lot about some pros and cons from self-driving cars, mainly about how they will increase productivity for business people, because driving not only yourself, but driving family members around, driving friends, self-driving cars will at some point completely eliminate that task for people. So, yep, thank you.
Now we're going to take a look at some implications and impacts of autonomous vehicles on businesses and our daily lives. The first impact was how new competitors are going to interact with old competitors. Tesla, Arty, Voyage, and Waymo are leaders in the autonomous vehicle market and are going to be competing with automotive giants like GM, Ford, and Honda, the latter of which are going to need to adapt to stay relevant with this new autonomous vehicle technology. Many people are also concerned about the destruction of jobs due to people like transit workers, truckers, and taxi drivers not being needed anymore. But we've done research that points to the creation of almost just as many jobs that will be destroyed because of the advanced processes going into creating the software and hardware behind these vehicles. Another thing we're very excited about is how AI is going to reduce human error, which will lead to fewer collisions and save lives and reduce medical costs. One article that we examined pointed to the fact that motor vehicle deaths could be reduced by 90%, which could save thousands of lives and save nearly 190 billion in annual health costs. We're also going to see insurance companies shift from personal accounts to more manufacturer-based accounts because the driver is no longer going to be at fault for collisions and the liability is going to be on the company which produced the car. We also are expecting to see impacted commute times and speed limits.
The future of self-driving cars, in my opinion, is very, very exciting. I feel like there are a ton of potential benefits to self-driving cars. I think they have the potential to decrease traffic, to remove human fatigue and distraction, to reduce road rage, and potentially increase the speed limit. And by doing this, I believe that self-driving cars have the capability to make roads safer and more efficient. That this technology is very unique and very special. And really, this technology has the potential to propel us into a new era of technology that we've never seen before.
Another relevant issue that we wanted to talk about was self-driving cars and ethics. Humans are the ones responsible for deciding what happens when a child runs out into the street. Do we hit another car? Do we go into the curb? Do we spare the child and hurt ourselves? That's the decision we get to make. And if that same situation occurs with a self-driving car, what type of decision will they make and who does that liability fall on? Before self cars are everywhere, we need to make sure that the correct technology is installed in these cars so that they can map out the situation that is happening and look at all of the outcomes and determine which one will be best and the most safest.
Thanks for listening to our presentation today. Just to conclude, we went over some pros and cons of autonomous vehicles, such as increased safety, decreased commute time, and just the overall reduction of human error, as well as some negative themes, such as potential job loss, the financial costs, and ethical issues associated with autonomous vehicles. We conducted an interview with an industry expert who gave us a better idea of the future of IS, as well as some potential downfall or growth of the industry. We also explored some implications such as new competitors, jobs, job safety, speed limit, and health costs. Overall, we're super excited for the further development and continued advancement of this technology and super excited for what the future holds. Thank you.